Hello everyone, William here. Due to length, we ended up cutting the episode into two separate episodes. The first part with me and Derek's discussion over the episode, and the second part with your feedback. If the editing seems a little abrupt, that's why. Now on with the show. Hello everyone, welcome to the Angel Rewatch, a spoiler-free retrospective podcast on Angel. I'm William.
And I'm Derek, and this is a podcast for That Vision Thing, originally airing October 1st, 2001, written by Jeffrey Bell. Cordelia hasn't had a vision in a while, but that soon changes when she has a violent one. She collapses and writhes on the floor of the Hyperion, and even afterwards seems in terrible pain. She goes into the bathroom to reveal huge claw marks on her body. While Fred stays with Cordy, Angel, Wesley, and Gunn go to fight the things in Cordelia's vision. They turn out to be demons that look like Asian grandparents. I definitely want to spin off with these two, but they get killed real dead. At Wolfer and Hart, the new Lindsay Gavin says that he's trying to take Angel out with real estate law. Lila laughs at him, and then is suddenly super passionate and affectionate about Lindsay. Lila tells Gavin that he means nothing, and then she goes into a meeting in her office. Back at Cordelia's condo, Fred tells Cordelia that she's like Leslie. Obviously, Cordelia is a little offended and tries to shoot Fred away, but she has another vision. As Fred checks in on unconscious Cordelia on the floor, boils sprout up on Cordelia's face. When everyone shows up at Cordelia's condo, Fred has an idea. If the powers that be can communicate with Cordelia, the connection must go two ways. If they can trace the frequency, they can find out why the powers are sending Cordelia these extra violent visions. They enlist the host's help to trace the visions. Back in Wolfer and Hart, it's revealed that the powers that be have nothing to do with the visions. Lila, with the help of Calpen, is sending Cordelia these deadly visions. Needless to say, Lila and I are getting a divorce, and I'm trying to get full custody of the children. Angel discovers it, and he's obviously not too happy. He tells Lila to stop, and Lila promises if Angel does something for her. A man that has quote-unquote been wrongfully imprisoned, and Angel needs to save him. Angel doesn't argue because it's Cordelia and all that stuff. Wesley doesn't even raise that much of a fuss. So Angel goes to the dimension to save this mysterious prisoner. He fights with this prison guard, who's a charming guy named Skip, despite his very Power Rangers batty appearance. During the fight, the prisoner tries to kill Skip, but Angel manages to save Skip. He knocks Skip out, and the prisoner is free. Lila and Angel arrange for a prisoner swap under a bridge. As Cordelia's visions go away, Wolfer and Hart get the prisoner. Once everything is settled, Angel throws a rebar across the lot and kills Calpen. Angel tells Lila if he ever comes after Cordelia again, she'll be next. At the Hyperion, Cordelia thanks Angel for saving her. She worries that the prison Angel feels will become a problem, and she feels it is her fault. Angel tells her that she is more important than anything Wolfer and Hart can do. Meanwhile, Darla is still pregnant. She walks into a tent and asks the shaman to get rid of her baby, as she has tried everything else. He can't, but Darla isn't completely surprised. She says there's nothing left to do but go visit Daddy. And that's the end of our episode.
There's something unbelievably satisfying about seeing a crowbar go through Calpen's head.
Yes, there is. I mean, I don't like him as an actor.
See, I don't even mind him and find him, funny in like the Harold and Kumar movies, but and I didn't mind him in House, but yeah, I really did like that guy in this episode.
Well, it could be that he's so gleeful about doing what he's doing to Cordelia.
Yeah, it's just because he's so smug.
It could be also that brain looks really fake and creepy.
Yeah, it was pretty ridiculous. I know we've got tons of crazy things that have gone on this show, but
well, that's the problem with the brain and the fact that he was wearing a fez to cover it.
Yeah,
which felt vaguely racist to me.
Yeah, I don't know. God, it's that part of the story was not the best. I like everything else wrapped around it. Like getting to see Lila again was obviously
really interesting and a lot different than what we had been getting in season 2.
I don't know if it's different. It's focusing on something that was hinted at in season 2. Where the fact that she acts like the most confident person in the room is really just an act. That once you threaten her, she becomes very flustered. She gets flustered very easily if she gets challenged on something.
Right, but she is more confident, or because she has this position.
Well, she doesn't have to compete with Lindsay.
Right, and so people are actually fall in line. Like there was something...
I don't think Gavin did.
No, but she doesn't... She maybe gets really sore really quickly whenever Gavin, like, I'd like you to be on my team and everything. And the fact that she babbles about Lindsay is besides the point. But she still gets to assert power in that conversation, that she gets to belittle him and just get to walk away.
I don't think she wins, really, because Gavin... Which is a weird moment that Gavin just lets Angel into the building.
Right. That's just weird. That felt kind of shoehorned in, that like we need an excuse for why he didn't just get immediately taken out. But I mean, Angel could have said anything, and I would have believed it. But Delilah,
it's not like Angel has had trouble getting into that office before,
right? Like ever since the first time he like heisted in there,
when he jumped through the window and Alan acted like a little boy.
I mean, like they should be a running joke about how easily they're able to burst into the impenetrable fortress that is Wolverman Hart.
Or just that one particular office. I feel like a guard should be posted by the window like 24/7.
Was it like season 1 that he actually had to like blowtorch through the bottom and everything?
Yeah, that was the end of season 1.
So, oh man. And they've actually literally just walked through the front door before. I don't know. But I was getting off a little bit on a tangent. But I thought it was really...
Could be that Wolfram Hart's offices seem to change between episodes. It doesn't look like it's the same office every time. It doesn't look like the same office that Lindsay was in, even though we're told it is.
No, it does not at all, actually. Like, it's sad that... Like, if they wouldn't have just had the line that it was Lindsay's old office, I would have forgotten about it and just kind of, like, waved it off. But it didn't look like Lindsay's old office.
And then the outside doesn't either. I think they're changing office buildings that they're using.
Maybe they're just remodeling. But no, but I really liked the Delilah Angel scene. Like you said, she does get flustered, but he doesn't see it. Mm-hmm. And she kind of bends to her will about everything. Once
they might hit Delilah's confidence issues a bit too hard in this episode, but I think it kind of worked because this does serve as a reintroduction to her character.
Right.
Because there's maybe a two times where she, like, touches her throat and is nervous when Angel can't see, because Angel comes off as very intimidating.
Right. But there was something to, like, the fact that she's actually getting to do stuff, mm-hmm. and it's actually working, made her more of a...
I mean, Lila doesn't win again. Besides the fact that she gets a prisoner, Cal Penn's dead, and she has to find some other way to get to Angel.
Yeah, but Cal Penn was always just a tool. Like, she got what she wanted out of the situation, mm-hmm. I feel like.
Probably.
And I think there was just something much more, not threatening, but like the fact that she is able, like she's attacking Angel in a very personal way. There is something more or less ambiguous than, say, Lindsay. And I thought that, like, her inclusion as one of our representatives from Wolfram and Hart, I thought worked really well.
Well, we're going to talk about Lindsay already. Yes, we are. I find her confidence issues to be more believable than Lindsay's conflicted, ambiguous feelings about whatever. it works. That humanizes me. That humanizes her for me more than Lindsay's tragic backstory does.
Yeah. And part of it is because she looks more human. Like, Lindsay was just kind of smug and always confident, and then would throw these little tantrums.
Yeah.
But, so it just, having a different shade on a character, I think, has been really effective. And the fact that she's still able to do, like, really heinous things, like, there's no gray with her. Like,
no.
She's evil.
But she doesn't come off as one-dimensional, too. Even if how evil she is, it seems that she's acting more evil than she actually probably feels confident doing. Which doesn't mean that she's conflicted about it. It's just that she's playing up her confidence and her evilness for effect.
Right.
I don't feel that Lila has any, like, qualms about what she does to Cordelia. Maybe she does, but the thing is that she doesn't come off as smooth as Holland did.
No, she's
trying to be as smooth as Holland and failing.
Right, like, she ends with the "it's just business" line. Mm-hmm. Still, I think it was interesting having her back, and then she didn't feel different, but the fact that she's actually in power, I think it just it felt nice that it was like a natural progression for where her character would be at.
And there's also, she doesn't have, Gavin, I don't feel is the same threat to her screen time as Lindsay was. Because I feel like we're not going to see much of Gavin besides what we've already seen. Gavin doesn't seem to have much of a personality on purpose.
Right, and just the sheer fact that he's a real estate agent is...
Well, no, he's a real estate lawyer.
Is bizarre to me.
Yeah. It kind of is that the real estate lawyer gets promoted to special projects. Which, I mean, so far he's becoming a bit of a thorn in Angel's side.
Yeah, it's very... He's just really annoying. But, you know, that seems to work on Angel. Like, just consistently bug him to death, and eventually he'll go evil.
Who knows what... I mean, I don't... Well, we don't really know what... Well, I guess Wolverine Heart's plan is just to annoy him. Because they don't seem to have an end game in mind like they did in last season with Darla. Right.
Like, that was a pretty big project, but it did end up like blowing up in their face. So I'm not exactly sure what Wolfram Art really necessarily has in store for Angel. Like, even this the story that we got here isn't about Angel. It's just about using him as a tool.
Well, yes, but I hope that there's consequences to whoever he released. And that comes back.
Yeah, I hope so too. Like, the fact, I mean, they hint at that at the end of the episode with Angel's conversation with Cordelia, that, you know, he's like, whatever consequences will happen, you know, we'll deal with it then. But
it seems to be more on a case by case basis right now for Wolfram Heart and Angel.
Right. So, I mean, did you like Gavin? I know he doesn't have much of a personality, but
I like Gavin, and he doesn't have much of a personality. I think that's fine, because I don't think they're treating him like he should.
Right. I dug his scene in the Hyperion. I thought that mainly just any time Wesley can puff his chest and then Angel can puff his chest, I thought worked pretty well. Angel's "gee, is that a lot?" Like his just non-recognition of what was going on, I thought worked nicely. Yeah, it was okay.
I mean, there's not much to say about Gavin, because there's not much to say about Gavin. He's fine for what he is. He's just not much. And that's
right.
I think they did too much with Lindsay and it didn't work, so I'm fine with going in the opposite direction for him.
Well, I mean, it's interesting that he's going to be used as kind of what Lila was for Lindsay, as just that person that's like nipping at her heels. Mm-hmm. That will push her to be better, eviler, badder, whatever. So, it is whatever it is. He's fine, I guess.
Okay, so we're going to talk about Cordelia because I don't know why we spent a lot of time on Wolfram Hart and not talking about Cordelia, which I feel is the rest of the episode.
Well, that's why I wanted to get the Wolfram and Hart out of the way and talk about...
Because this is a very good episode for Cordelia.
No, it certainly was. And, I can't even remember anymore of ever having problems with Cordelia's cry acting.
Well,
I feel like that was just like season 1.
Yeah, she's gotten better at acting like she's in pain.
Right.
Which is weird because it's still very over the top and flailing, but it doesn't. Right. It feels appropriate to what's actually happening. Like it actually looks like that's happening, not that we're being told that she's feeling the visions and she's just like screeching. Right,
and they've been really good at ramping up the visions taking a toll up until this point and been commenting about it, and actually we've been seeing it. Mm-hmm. And then so the opening I thought was really effective, added some real stakes to the episode. And
the claw marks?
Yeah, there's a real threat there, and I'm actually concerned for this character, oh crap. What's actually happening. There's a nice intrigue and hook in that first, before the actual theme kicks in.
I didn't remember I didn't remember that Lila and Wolfram Hart are behind the claw marks and all the things. So I just thought, I didn't think we were going to spend the rest of the season, Cordelia was going to have boils on her face and burn marks on her arms and all that. So I thought that eventually, probably by the end of this episode, this is all going to go away. But I did really get invested in the fact, in the emotions of the moment and the fear that she's feeling and everyone else around her is feeling about what's happening to her. Which is impressive, right. Because it's not going to last that long. But while we're experiencing it now, it's a very scary thing.
Right, and they really sold that fear really well. I mean, obviously, they have Cordelia expressing it in the bedroom scene with Angel, but seeing everyone on edge. Obviously, Angel goes anytime Cordelia's threatened. Mm-hmm. He takes a very personal interest.
Okay, that's my one problem. But continue. I have a problem with the focus of this episode. But continue what you were saying.
Well, I was just saying, each character kind of responded to it in their own different way, but the fact that she I
think we see Gunn. I mean, not Gunn. I think we see Fred and Angel's reactions to it. I don't feel like Gunn, and we really see Gunn and Wesley's.
Well, I like Wesley has a more quiet reaction to it, like the fact that he, Angel ends up having to go on this suicide mission again, and Wesley immediately is like, "Okay, I'm going with you."
Yeah, well, I do like that scene a lot. But Gunn, I don't think we get anything from Gunn or Lauren.
Well, Gunn kind of gets lost in the episode, but
and what else is now?
They did a good job of selling the fear of the gang, and there was a nice sense of stakes to the episode. I like you. I don't think she's going to end up looking this way for the rest of the season.
No, it's a TV show, and part of what it's marketed on is that Charisma Carpenter is very pretty. We're not going to scar her for the entire series.
But seeing her just in pain, and the fact that she was raspy. Mm-hmm. for
Which I
the episode.
really like that as an acting choice.
Right, and it just, like, the fact, like, when she starts to, choke up and cry, it, like, even, I thought it just, like, sold it even more.
Okay, so I want to get into my problem, because I feel like 50 to maybe 75% of this is completely Cordelia's episode. Angel is very much in the background. Then once we find out that Wolverine Hart's behind it, it abruptly switches to Angel.
Like, she just passes the torch to him and says, go?
Well, she doesn't even pass it. There's no passing of the torch. It's suddenly it's Angel's episode, and it's another episode about Angel being really concerned about Cordelia and doing whatever it takes to save her. And I'm fine with either of those episodes, and I'm fine with both of those stories existing in this episode, but it's too abrupt a change, and if all I really need is to have one more scene of just Cordelia while Angel's on a suicide mission to remind us that this really is her episode, just to have her react, but all we get is that she's like sleeping and Fred watches as the injuries go away. Because it bothers me how much she disappears from this episode once that Angel needs to go into hero mode.
Right.
And I do like that we just cut out the whole rigmarole of, like, Angel, you shouldn't do this because reasons, and it will be bad. We don't even have to talk about that. We just get it in the Wesley scene that, like, this is bad, right? And he's like, right, and I'm going to come with you anyway, and no. So we just get all of that in one scene, which I think works well, because if we had to go through it, someone trying to talk Angel out of it, I think we all know what the end result of that is going to be at this point.
Yeah, and the longest conversation we get of someone trying to talk him out of it is him talking to the demon Skip.
Which I feel like I like Skip, and I like that scene. I feel that scene goes on a bit too long.
Yeah, I mean,
it goes a bit too long, and I feel like you could show Cordelia, a scene with Cordelia and Fred again, and not have to have that. Just have the part. I mean, you could even have, like, you're not supposed to be here. The jokes in the beginning, which are very funny. I don't know we need so many of those jokes.
Right. I think they just really liked this character and wanted to milk it for all it's worth. And they wanted to sell the awkwardness of the two of them just kind of standing there talking.
And I think you can still have that and still have the conversation about, I can't stop you doing this, right? And Angel tells him no, and then they fight. Right.
What's funny is that fight scene is, like, significantly shorter than them just talking.
That's awesome. There's a pacing problem in that scene where it's more about the conversation, and then the fight happens very quickly.
Right.
So I do like that the prisoner tries to kill Skip and Angel saves him.
Right. No, it would have been nice to cut back to Cordelia. Like, I would have liked to have a follow-up Fred and Cordelia scene.
Mm-hmm.
But it would have been hard to sell. She would have been asking where the guys were. Like,
well, I feel like Cordelia knows at the end. I don't think it's kept a secret from her.
I think she's told after she, wakes up or whatever.
Yeah. But I don't think they were purposely keeping it from her.
Right. They don't sedate her or anything, right? She just goes to sleep?
As far as I know.
Yeah, okay.
I think she's just tired from her very big day of being on fire and flesh.
Which, they really put her through the works.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, going back to that scene, the demon Skip scene, I like the fight for how short it is. Like, the lighting's really well done, and I thought the makeup on Skip was fine.
Oh, I don't think the makeup on Skip is a problem. He does, at a point in the fight when Angel knocks him out, it looks very much like a guy in a rubber suit.
Right. Well, the fact that his appendages, like, flail, like they flop a little bit.
Yeah. He twists, and you can see that this doesn't look anything like anybody's skin or armor. It looks like a rubber suit.
Right. Like, the implications of whoever this guy is was pretty interesting. Like, he looks really evil.
And he also looks like a human, which doesn't mean a whole lot, honestly. But he does look like a human.
But I also found that kind of interesting. Like, they really built up, like, this guy is so bad and so evil that he's in, like, a literal fire jail.
Which is so realistic. When we get the shots of Angel reacting to Skip and the fire cages in the background, it looks wonderful.
Well, I mean, it's a little ridiculous, but it was.
Well, I don't have
it sold the jokes really well.
Well, yeah, it's just. I mean, I'm not expecting that much from early 2000 special effects on a WB show, but it did not. It looked really distractingly bad. Obviously, it wasn't there, and the lighting behind Angel, it was just not good.
They really, I mean, they definitely sold that this guy is bad and evil. Mm-hmm. Like, he gives his, like, very creepy smiles and things, but, like, even whenever they set him free, you know, they have the dun-dun-dun music and him, like, dramatically, we get to see him uncuffed or whatever, like, they're cutting the rope when he gets into the limo. Mm-hmm. I mean, he doesn't talk or anything.
No, they don't know his name. We don't know anything about him besides the fact that he looks really evil.
So, in that way, that the sense of consequence at the end of the episode isn't that great.
No, I like rather lackluster and I'm acting for this episode. So everyone's like, well, it all worked out now, and all that matters is you're safe, Cordelia. But
right,
that guy better come back.
Right, like the implication is nice.
Yeah.
But it did feel a little like, okay, and we saved the day at the end. You know,
Oh yeah, and not so much that we saved the day. It's just that I don't see the point yet.
Right.
Like, there's no sense that there's not like a sense that freeing this guy is going to be disastrous yet. Like, I don't know. It doesn't seem to me like this is Wolfram Hart's like season long game. This guy is going to come back in a big way. Like, I don't see him being a Darla figure.
Right. Or a big bad or whatever. Mm-hmm. I am glad that they had the scene between Angel and Cordelia at the end of the episode to, you know, actually address the ending of actually letting someone who's supposedly super evil go. It made the episode feel a lot better than just like, okay, that was it, kind of. To me, there did feel kind of like a letdown because we didn't explore this guy at all. We know nothing about him, and then, oh, Cordelia's fine, everything's okay. But to actually have, you know, Cordelia address it, like to get the focus back onto her, I thought worked really well.
I still think that's Angel's scene at the end. I don't think she's I think that's Angel's scene, and she's reacting to Angel. I don't think that's Cordelia's scene.
I think it's both their scene. Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah, Angel gets the last line in it. Like,
well, she's looking for confirmation from him. He's not. She doesn't really forward anything of her own.
I mean, I still feel like maybe it's focusing on just Angel's decision making at the end of the episode, but I still feel like it was an attempt to kind of meld the fact that it was kind of both their stories, or that we had Cordelia for half the episode, and then Angel for half the episode, and them talk at the end. I thought it worked well in bridging the gap for me.
Okay, it didn't for me, but that's fine. I mean, I can see where you had that opinion. I just didn't feel the same way.
Yeah.
Okay, so and Darla's still pregnant.
Darla's
and
still
she's
pregnant.
coming for Daddy, which I guess we're confirmed. It's Angel's baby.
Right, which I don't think they needed to actually confirm it. But
No, but yeah.
This just felt like a rehash from the end of last episode.
What I do like about that is when I don't know what we're supposed the
shaman
is the shaman. I feel like I don't know what exactly he is.
He's a shaman.
He's a shaman. Okay. Well, yeah. When the shaman says that he can't do anything about it, I mean that's part of the reason why I don't feel like that guy is going to be the season-long thing, because I feel like this pregnancy is going to be.
Yeah.
It's very ominous so far. The fact that everything starts to shake, and he says that he can't do anything about it. It's unholy and unclean or whatever.
That this was not meant to be known.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's something going on there that's bigger than just the fact that Angel might be a daddy someday.
I wish they would have paused, just enough to let that linger and then have Darla go, yeah, like I haven't heard that before. I thought we just would have sold that joke, but no, it's still really ominous. It didn't add anything necessarily new.
Well, I
but
do
the
think
fact
that's
that she's finally
necessary. Because the last time we'd seen her is in that barn in Mexico, which I think she's still in Mexico, right? Or South America now?
Yeah. Where's Honduras?
It's in South America.
Okay.
Anyway, so if she's still... I think so. I might have just lied. I have no idea. If the last time we had seen her and then she shows up in L.A., I think probably that would have worked. But now that we know that she's making her way to L.A., and we know that there's something seriously wrong besides... I mean, you can infer from the fact that she is pregnant and she is dead that there's something weird going on here. But now there's something otherworldly about the pregnancy that's not meant to happen, and now she's coming to Angel to confront him about it.
Right, yeah. It's nice that she's finally going to L.A.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I'll be excited to see Darla again.
And the fact that she's been trying to get rid of it, and she hasn't been able.
Yeah, it's just more ominous.
Yeah. It's a very Darla reaction that she's been trying to kill this baby inside her.
Man, it's really dark.
Mm-hmm. Well,
she's trying a magical abortion, but...
Nothing about Darla is happiness and sunshine. All right, so switching gears real quick. Favorite moment for me. You'd think it would be Angel and Cordelia in a bedroom because you think I'd just snatch up that scene real quick.
Right.
But I'm going to go with a little bit of a surprising thing. Is when Fred calls Cordelia Lassie. Which is... It is funny, but what works for me about that is Cordelia's reactions to being called Lassie. And something I'm finding very interesting with Cordelia on Rewatch is the fact that she doesn't ever want to be seen as weak. Or she doesn't ever want to be her relationship to be seen in relation to Angel, which is how Fred sees her. Like she's taken aback. And initially, she's the way Chris McCarpenter plays it is she is kind of hurt and sort of confused. Is this how people see me, that I'm just Angel's lapdog?
Right.
And then she responds with anger and tries to get her out of the house. But the moment when she's been called Lassie and she sees, well, am I really just Angel's... Am I Angel's Lassie, or am I my own person? Because I think Cordelia sees her visions as kind of her own thing, that she just gets to help Angel, where Fred sees it as she exists for Angel to use, as a tool for Angel to use. Right. That's how Fred sees it. And if they it seems that they're starting to pick up on this, because it's been kind of an underlying thread, and they're bringing it more to the surface, because last week Cordelia refused to go home and she wanted to stay with Angel. So my hope is that it's going to be addressed in the future that Cordelia becomes more of her own person besides the visions. That the visions aren't enough to make her feel satisfied because other people see her this way.
Right. They've done a good job of developing Cordelia and of making the visions part of her, but not what she is. Mm-hmm. And so it kind of ties into my favorite moment, which is that bedroom scene with Angel and Cordelia.
The more we talk about it as a bedroom scene between Angel and Cordelia, I feel like it's a very different context.
But her. I mean, obviously, like it hits that emotional beat once she starts saying, "I'm scared all the time," and like I was.
Well, it also ties into her wanting to be seen as strong.
Right. And I love that moment because of how you get to see how Angel sees her, mm-hmm. and the fact that he wouldn't care if she didn't have the visions anymore. He'd still want her there. He would still need her there, which obviously he loves her, yeah. But still,
No, Cordelia serves a different purpose than for Angel. Just her presence of who she is and how she talks to him is probably more important. Her relationship with him is more important to Angel than anything.
Right. She's his tie to humanity. Mm-hmm. She brings out the best in him. She actually questions him.
Yeah.
And obviously, just brings out. There's just a warmth to her character that just is so infectious that even he can't resist.
Yeah.
Like anytime we just see him smile, it's usually because Cordelia's on screen.
Angel smiles much more around Cordelia than he ever did with Buffy. I'm just saying that. Which I came into this podcast being very much on the Buffy Angel side, romantic side of things. But honestly, come on. There's just something about these two. I feel Buffy made Angel into a hero and a guy that's going to go and do the right thing, to keep on fighting. Cordelia actually makes him human.
Right.
Whether it becomes a romantic relationship, at this point I am reading it as Angel. I'm not seeing it so much from Cordelia's side that she's romantically attracted to Angel. Not yet. But I do think that Angel has not recognized how much he actually does have romantic feelings for her. And normally that would bug the crap out of me because it happens all the time on TV where a character doesn't know that they're in love with another character until at the end of the season they just suddenly decide they've been in love with them all the time. But it works for Angel because he is so repressed.
Right.
If it's any other person, Angel's whole thing is that if he has any kind of feelings for anyone, he's going to immediately shove that down because he can't act on it.
Right. He might actually act on that and then start killing everyone.
Yeah. So it works for Angel because I feel at times that he acknowledges it, when he talks to Skip and says, it's about a girl. You don't say that just because it's about a girl who I'm friends with. It's about a girl is that you're there because you're in love with her. Right.
Or anytime he's talked to Wesley mm-hmm. and when she's been in these, life
and it's Cordy.
It's Cordy. It's Cordy. We gotta.
And Wesley definitely at this point
recognizes it. Absolutely. I mean, he's been the most observant of their relationship, mm-hmm. even to the point whenever they were strained, he was, pushing him to facilitate that
and the other thing
getting back together.
Wesley seems. Whether Wesley really has a choice in it or not, Wesley does designate Angel to go talk to Cordelia oftentimes. Because I don't think that if Wesley had decided, I think Angel's going to do it anyway. But Wesley seems to think that he's in control because he has Angel go into the bedroom to talk to her and ask how Cordelia is doing, and he seems to be their liaison.
Well, I also think that he doesn't necessarily... He knows that Angel will be able to communicate with her in a way that he never could. Mm-hmm. Like, just seeing the opening with Wes and Gunn, and them, like, trying to argue about how to come across as believable.
Yeah.
Gunn's great day.
Because, Wesley obviously knows. We don't know anything about Gunn, let's be honest. But I do think that they've been able to use Wesley between those two and have made him really kind of pop as a character because he but in his quiet moments of when you do, there is just them two talking and then you cut back to Wesley having a reaction shot and having a knowing smile.
Right.
And it shows a kind of maturity on Wesley's part that has really nothing to do with him being a rogue demon hunter and actually having some real fighting skills. The fact that he's able to be quiet and just observe rather than when Wesley first showed up, he probably would have blurted out something really embarrassing.
Right.
All right.
All right. And if you'd like to leave us some feedback,
we didn't do scores, so...
Oh, we didn't do scores. Oh, my God, my bad. Okay. So scores.
You go first, because I really don't know what to give this.
So, not to dance around, I'm going to give this a 67 out of 100.
Okay.
I enjoyed this. There were some nice emotional beats to it. Brain Demon's a little weird, and it couldn't help at the end feeling like a deflating element to the episode, just because it feels like there's so much left unresolved by not knowing anything about the demon that or this guy that we've released.
Yeah.
So
okay, so I enjoyed this more than last week, but the thing that bothered me is the lack of direction it seemed to be in whose story this was. If it was Angel's, if it was Cordelia's, if it was both of them, and just the thing about the Burning Man and who is he, and it's not so much like if it was just a mystery about who he is, but it's kind of like they talk about it very matter-of-fact and anticlimactically. Like it just kind of happens. And there's no real kind of reflection on it. Even when they are reflecting on it, it's less about the Burning Man and more about what Angel did for Cordelia.
Right.
So I ended up giving this a 66. And pretty much for the same reasons that you gave it a 67.
Okay.
All right. Now we can do the plugs.
All right. And if you'd like to leave us some feedback, you can do so by commenting on the post at theangelrewatch.wordpress.com.
Or you can send an email to angelrewatch@gmail.com.
Or you can call our voicemail number at 206-203-3276.
Or you can go to Tumblr, which is angelrewatch.tumblr.com, to see all the reviews archived there and the guests of whatever episode we're watching.
We're available on YouTube, iTunes, and Stitcher. While you're there, leave us a review. It really helps promote the show. You can follow me on Twitter at NerdGuyWilliam.
And you can follow me on Twitter and Tumblr at TheConfortador.
And next time, we'll be reviewing That Old Gang of Mine, where Gunn's loyalties are torn between Angel Investigation and his old gang.